So is it That's all. Yeah. There's a couple people.
That's my other space.
All right, y'all ready? Get started. If y'all don't know me, my name is Mike Simmons. I'm the president of the Houston Beekeepers Association. That over there with the long hair is Sammy. Sammy. Hey. She's our vice president. And then we have Christy Coles over there as our secretary, and Rebecca Spurlock is our treasurer. And then where's James Watson? Right there. All right, that's our mentor coordinator. And that's Joe, our past president. So we were supposed to have a meeting tonight with a commercial beekeeper, and then he canceled on us at the last minute. So we're kind of winging it, and it's a bit of a mishmash of what we're going to cover tonight. So for announcements, the only thing I know of going on is the Texas Beekeepers Association Summer Clinic. It's June 21st. It's going to be in Abilene, Texas. If you go to the texasbeekeepers.org, they have all the information, and then they have some, I think they usually have a good deal on hotels too, if you're interested in going to Abilene. That's a great clinic to attend. They've had it here in the past a few years ago. If you go to that clinic, it's like 2 days of what you would get here, and you get like 16 of, it'd be like attending 16 meetings, the amount of information you get in 2 days there. Plus you get to pick, they'll have like, for every conference period, they'll have 4 or 5 different things you can pick from. So, you know, depending on your experience level and what you're interested in doing, you can pick specific conferences to go to learn different things. And they also have a lot of new stuff this year. They have stuff about the honey show and honey judging. They actually have some hands-on stuff this year. They're doing the master beekeeper testing. So if you're looking for your Texas master beekeeper, you can go there. We're supposed to be getting some testing in Houston, right? Hopefully. So that's a big push. I don't know if y'all know Garrett Slater. He's our, I don't know what his title is. What's Garrett's title? Garrett Slater. Yeah. He's the honeybee specialist. Yeah, he's the honeybee specialist for Texas from USDA, right? Yeah. But he's really big into getting the Texas Master Beekeeper program a lot better. Yeah, we have our Harris County specialist here tonight, Stephen, right? Yeah, he'll come up here and talk in a minute about a project he's doing. And if you're interested in tech, if you're not familiar with the Texas Master Beekeeper program, it has 3 levels. So it has an apprentice level, an advanced level, and a master level. The apprentice level is really easy. So once you've been beekeeping for, I think, a year or 2, you can go take the test for it. It's basically like, you know, what is this piece of equipment called? It has some basic stuff on pest management, being able to identify what a varroa mite is and a small hive beetle and that kind of thing. And then you get a cool little patch, and you get to say you're an apprentice level master beekeeper. And then after that, you have to start doing all the hard stuff with public speaking credits and all that to get the advanced level, master level. And they also have, now they have a good website to track all your stuff. You get approval to take the advanced level test before. You used to have to go to the test with a binder and go, I hope I have enough stuff. And they let me take it. Now they do that ahead of time, so it's better. They also have like a monthly meeting with all the Texas Master Beekeepers. They share information with each other. It's getting to be a lot better program than it used to be. So I'd encourage everyone to go check it out. What else? I think that's it for announcements, unless anybody else knows anything cool going on with bees. So for this time of year, we're getting the really heavy honey production time of year. So we're not too far from tallow trees blooming, which is our main nectar source in Houston. I would imagine most of y'all probably already have supers on. If you don't have supers on, now's the time. If you have a double deep hive or a story and a half hive or whatever. If you have smaller hives, one thing you can think about if you have multiples is combining them to be able to produce honey. A small hive is not going to produce a surplus, but if you combine two small hives, a lot of times they're big enough to make a surplus. So depending on what your goals are, you could just split them some more or something if you wanted to. Now's a great time to be doing splits too. So we're also in prime swarm season. I picked up 2 swarms this week already, especially with this beautiful weather we're having. So swarm management right now is really important. If you have hives that are full, make sure they have enough space. So if you have a single deep that has tons of bees in it, make sure you're putting a second deep on there. If you don't split them, they're going to split one way or another. So if you don't split them, they'll swarm. So it's better to take 2 or 3 frames out, make a split, or try to make a split. If you don't want to have that many hives, you could split them, let them build up over the springtime, and then in the middle of summer or late summer, you can combine them back and make one hive. It's pretty easy to do. You just smash one queen, put some newspaper on them, stack them on top of each other, give them a day, they're one hive now. You can even, and then you can pick which queen you want. It's better. Yes. Oh yeah, so we have a library now. Yeah, Hank donated a bunch of books. We're going to look at expanding that probably a little bit in the future too. I'm going to get Tom Seeley's books and put them in there. Those are great ones to read. Honeybee Democracy, and he's got another one that's really good. So if you want,
if you want to check out one, check it out, sign it out, bring it back to the next meeting.
I have a bunch of books, but they're all on Kindle. So they got rid of that. The Supreme Court didn't like the Kindle library thing that they were doing. So, Stephen, you want to come and talk about your project?
Good afternoon, everybody. Stephen Frederick. I serve as the county extension agent for Ag and Natural Resources here in Harris County. Been in Harris County 5 years, seems like longer. I was an ag science teacher before I began my role here in extension. But I guess about a week ago, county extension agents all across 254 counties are expected to do a result demonstration project. And so Dr. Slater, I believe he's probably been here before to speak. And so, we have specialists all across the state of Texas, and then Lauren, that she's about 2 weeks on, I believe. Met her for the first time this last week, and she's in Angleton, so super close. I'm glad to have her. Dr. Slater is in Overton, so he's a few miles down the road from us. But so we're expected to do a result demonstration project, and so this is something that was brought up a few weeks ago. And so what Dr. Slater is asking agents to do in different counties is pollen collection. And so this is an opportunity free of charge. Doesn't cost you anything as being the landowner or producer. I will do all the work. And so it might be time consuming, but he's looking to start this project in May and then end in May of 26. But this is once a month. It's first of the month. He would like the pollen collected, but he will send the pollen traps to our office if somebody's interested. And then I would work with somebody if they're interested, or if you know of somebody that would be interested. And, usually he has a schedule, so it's basically just, once a month from May until May 26th. He has the dates, and then I will send that to Overton, to his office, and then the specialist there will, break down the samples. And so he's really looking to get a map, of the state of Texas and urban, rural, counties in the state. And, so kind of get a map together that I probably will share in publications, for bee specialists, through extension. So, we're glad to have him on board, and I did a session, last fall. I do an urban rancher series, and, one of the sessions we had was beekeeping 101. Dr. Slater, Christie was there, and, so that was, I guess he's been on about a year, so, glad to have him. So if anybody's interested, I'll have more information and I'll stick around, but, appreciate the time, Mike, and I'll be around. So thank you.
What's involved in collecting pollen?
So as far as just in general, or the project that he's looking for?
You're looking for a sample to be collected in the first week month.
Yes, sir.
So what's involved, what we have to do?
You would just leave the trap open, close it on for the 24 hours. And then I would come do all the work, just pick it up, put it in the Ziploc, and I will do everything and send it over to him. So, yes, sir.
Well, I simply is you looking, at which height they're located and what kind of pollen they are collecting.
So pollen, and then just different areas of Texas. I mean, somebody on the east side of Baytown might be different than, on the west side, or somebody in Fort Bend County might be different than, somebody out in the Panhandle or wherever. And so he just wants a comprehensive just map, and, he's gonna collect all the data, and then hopefully, like I said, send that out on, different regions in Texas and areas.
So there's a pollen trap that you put it from your eye that collects the pollen.
Yes, he will send all that, and free of charge. It wouldn't cost you anything, just might be the time commitment, but that would be on me as well to, come out, on the first of the week. He has it all outlined. So like I said, basically we have to do a result demonstration. So all the work's really done. It's just, he's gonna provide them, to us. So free of charge. It wouldn't cost you anything. Just put it on the hive and, collect, and then I will do all the collecting and, send it off. So just
Almost.
a little tidbit there. Yes.
Which counties are we next looking at?
So,
All of Texas or?
I mean, since I'm here in Harris County, it'd be beneficial to do Harris County or maybe somewhere's on the line. Because different, when this was sent out, about every agent was like, I'm gonna do this. And so, our agents in Fort Bend and Waller County and surrounding counties, they might be on top of it. But I knew this meeting was coming up, partnership already, so I said, I'm gonna come to this meeting because I wanna be first. So, it's, I'm not sure if you're in Harris County, but
Yeah, I'm in Fort Bend, and our meeting was last week at association, and they would go to a presentation as well. So I was just curious.
I'm late. I'm a week late, but I'm already here. So, like I said, it's just, right. So
That'll be really valuable data for, as beekeepers to know what's blooming when and what pollen it's providing. Then we can tell how nutritious it is for the bees, all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of good information to come out of that.
yes,
Is he working together with the medicinal guy? There's this person who's researching down here for medicine.
Oh,
I can't answer that for you. I'm not
You talking
sure.
about, what's his name, Oster?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. That'd be cool too. There's a guy in San Antonio that does, the medicinal benefits of honey.
Okay.
He's a professor at UT San Antonio.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. He came and spoke to us a couple years ago.
So anyways, like I said, I'll stick around. Any questions, or if you know anybody interested, be glad to talk about it. Thank you.
Dan, you want to start talking?
Mike. Swarm trap?
Yeah, you talk about swarm trapping. Now's the time of year for that.
I'll keep it short. We're at that time of the year. Swarms are starting. I got into this swarm trapping about 3 years ago. And I built a bunch of swarm trap. What really is a swarm trap? It's just a beehive that's about half size in terms of frame, 5 frames, but I add another 6 inches to get 40 liters of volume. Apparently, that's the ideal volume for a swarm trap. And it basically, it's a 5 frame, small box. Now, you'll read a lot of data that says hang them 10 to 12 feet up in the air. I ain't getting up no tree ever. I put the 3 screws as high as I could reach, put 3 nails in there, and on my swarm trap, I got a little back 1x4 with hose driller, and I just hang it on the nails. Now, where do you locate your swarm trap? Even Art thinks I did a good job of locating. I mean, Joe, rather, I'm sorry, Joe Power. He came down there, and it appears that bees love like a ditch line, fence line. And so hanging on trees that's in a line like that really proves to be an ideal. Now, there's a house in Bel Air on Laurel Street, right off freeway. I've had a swarm trap in his backyard on the fence the last 2 years and caught 1 swarm 1 year and 2 the next year. So swarms are wherever the bees are. Now, what makes a swarm trap successful? You see this old drawn comb? You need at least 1 ball, a frame of drawn comb in your box, so it'll smell like bees. And that is probably the most important thing, and bees smell that. So you could have an old dirty moth-eaten thing. This comes out of a top bar hive, and to put it in a swarm trap, since I use limestone, I just take the top bar of a regular frame, screw it on top, and just drop it into my 5 frames in the swarm trap. Now, then also you could buy, some people use lemongrass, or you could buy some commercial like Bee Wrangler. Some people say that's the best stuff, but it's, you know, $25, $30, but it all depends. Now, don't overuse Bee Wrangler. You put 2 squirts on the top of the frame and 1 on the entrance, and that's it. You know, you could apply it every week or 2, but I cut down the reapplication. I take a little medicine bottle, put a ball of cotton in it, drill a 1/8 inch or 16-inch hole, and drop it in the bottom of the thing. That way that pheromone stays around longer if you don't check it every week or 2 weeks. Now, you need to move your bees out of the swarm trap into a hive probably 2 weeks after they move in. If you don't, they're going to build on the bottom of the frames and everything else, and you're going to have a real hard time transferring the frames from the swarm trap into the hive. 2 weeks, and I've had one time 3. They had the whole bottom of that 6 inches with comb built on the bottom of those frames. So you need to kind of watch it, and you know when you know they move in. Now, sometimes you'll get false sensation. You got a lot of old frames with honey and stuff, and you go there and say, "Oh God, bees coming in! I got a swarm." They're just robbers checking it out. I had got fooled several times. Saying, "Oh man, I got a swarm moved in 2 days after I hung the trap." Well, when I went check it, finally, it wasn't no bees. They were just robbing what residual honey and stuff. But so what do you do if you got some comb built on the bottom of your frame? Just cut it off and hang it in one of the frames and drop it in your box. And you just, you know, just cut the bottom and you put it in the same position, you know, top, like that. Don't go put it sideways. You want it because the way the cones are done. And this is how you just take rubber bands and put them on there and drop that little piece of brood. You don't ever transfer honey. If it's cap brood, you put it in there because, you know, you don't need to be transferring honey during the swarm season. That's about it. Anybody got any questions? Well, one year I caught 14 swarms. Another year I caught 9. But why did I catch 14? Shoot, had his hives about half a mile from my swarm traps. And he got caught in California and their bees swarming and they were just moving into my swarm trap. I didn't tell Shmoop that your bees are swarming and I'm capturing them. But that was the reason I caught so many. But generally, unless there's something if you hang 5 traps, you say about half of them, but I've had better luck than that. But you know, I hang them in some good spots. Joe contested where I got them, ideal locations, because I got country where the farm is. But you can hang them in town. Like I say, on Laurel Street, I hung swarm traps in the last 2 years, and I caught 3 swarms in 2 years.
I live in, my house is in a real suburban area. It's probably not in, like, commercial beehives for a good 4 or 5 miles. And I usually catch a swarm on my back. I put a swarm trap on top of where I store my bee equipment, because I don't want bees moving into my house. I don't want to move the trap. I'll catch usually 2 or 3 swarms there every year.
Yeah, in fact, that guy on Laurel, he asked me to put the swarm trap here because bees were moving in his wall. And it cost him $350 to get them out. Now, if you want bees and somebody calls you and said you got bees in a tree, don't bother. That's work. And it's just pure, and a lot of time you're not lucky to say swarm trap. Now, if they call and say there are bees in a tree, you know, swarm, and you go there and take a 35-gallon garbage can, shake them in there and dump in your hive, that's easy work. If they're low, but if they're 20 feet up, forget it. I don't go look at them. They gotta be low. Like a guy had an orange tree in the back of his yard in Missouri City. He said, and he even brought out the shears and we just clipped the limb and throw it in a garbage can, take it home, dump it in the box. So that's catching swarms, you know, just that swarm instead of swarm trapping. But you know, that's the way to get bees too.
You can also use, if you catch swarms this time of year right now, you can, if you have a weak hive, you can
Dump them together, yeah.
then you can combine those 2 hives, kill whichever queen you want, and then combine them together and have a swarm hive.
But, you know, like I say, this happens, I had a dead out on my top bar hive. They froze out because it was too weak. And so this is ideal drawn comb for swarm trap. And since it's a Langstrom type, I just convert it and screw this in there and drop it in there. And you got 1 frame. The other 4 you could leave blank or just put some foundation in there.
Yeah, if anybody wants a little crappy comb like that on a frame, or a deep frame, let me know. I'll trade you a blank frame for a old nasty blue comb frame. I got tons of them.
Yeah.
What's the soonest you can move them over to the box? I just caught a swarm.
Pardon me?
What's the soonest that you can move a swarm out of the swarm box into a bee? Like, is there, do you do it too early or?
No, I wait 2 weeks and they move in. And they'll by that time they'll have half proof.
Yeah.
And I just,
I was waiting for these guys to have a, they're committed.
They're committed, yeah.
They're getting quick, and they haven't get back to anything yet, so
I feel it when they start bringing it along.
you don't want to move too early because if they got no half proof, then you move them, they might scout them. So, okay.
So just watch the entrance, he's coming for minutes.
Okay.
Wait. So let's say, I've done everything you know, so I found the swarms, you know, covered the trees, put it in the sink, and then I went to work, and then when I came back, they were gone. Let's say you caught the swarm out of the tree lid, how do you get them to stay inside the box?
Love.
You can put you have another house with cat food on it. You can pull a frame of cat food, put it in there,
Okay.
and that'll answer them pretty much right away.
Yeah, but you're right. If you just dump them, that's like you buy a new and put them in a box. They may scout them. That's not to hold it. And I think Mike said about if you got a frame of cat food from hives, brush the bees off, drop it in there, they'll pile on them.
You don't even have to brush bees off, just slap it in there. Those are all nurse bees, they'll assimilate just fine.
Yeah.
Now, I saved my nuke boxes from this year. I know you say 40 liters, but have you had any luck using more nuke boxes as swarm traps?
Oh, yeah. Oh, hi.
They work.
You got a big enough stand.
That's what, I mean, that's what I use with swarm traps, like straw ties, when I get one where the corners falling apart or whatever, and I don't use it. For my production hive anymore, it's a swarm trap now.
The biggest thing is a lot of bee smell in your box or on the front. And an old hive, some of those new traps aren't really bee aged, shall we say.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have, you need that bee smell. I've had one swarm that was so big, they landed on a swarm trap, but there wasn't enough room to move into it, then they flew off and looked for another place. I mean, I've never seen a swarm that big. They literally covered that swarm trap, but they didn't go in because there wasn't enough room. But that's rare.
I never had any luck with nuke boxes. I tried. I have a bunch of, I have like 40 nuke boxes. They're wood boxes I've had.
Yeah, they're not aged. And they're a little small.
I never had any.
Yeah. Well, he got more experience with that. I never used it.
So, one of the things, my wife thinks I got bee boxes back at home. Everybody. It has that problem, I feel another shade, man, I get that stuff in there. So, paper bags in the grocery store, those random newspaper bags, you need a couple of those, and a couple of those black clips over there. And like you said, if you find on a tree with that, as opposed to a box, you have something a little higher, if you want, if it's straight in there, and just wrap the top and close it. And then if you want to put them in a hive, just take two deep, one on top of the other, okay, so you got one or two old frames at the top. Okay, and just place it in the front of the bee hive. And then put the two on top, close the lid, and then 24 hours, and come out and pick it back.
Interesting. Whatever you do, just don't buy those paper mache looking ones that the bee supply places sell.
Yeah,
Send
I'm
them trash.
granules, paper.
Yeah, that's- Yeah, get it for free. They sell these little traps on like Man Lake. They look like a flower pot, but they're if you ever done like seed starter pots, they're made out of that same stuff.
Yeah, I saw
So
it.
you're lucky if they last 2 months, and they're like $20 a piece. Don't buy those. Hmm?
They get wet bones and doesn't.
Yeah, they fall apart. Let's say they're trash. I tried one of them.
But I'll say, swarming, if you look on that listing of people looking for swarm moved in, it's time to hang your swarm traps if you want a swarm trap.
Yeah, if you, one thing, if you're interested in going to get swarms that are like hanging in the tree or whatever, if you post on like your local Facebook page, like for your neighborhood, use that to get around. And once you pick up one or two of them, they tell all their friends, and then you become the local bee person.
Other thing, go down to the police station or fire department, usually people will call and say, I got these wild animals hanging in the tree.
Yeah, people don't know what to do, so they call
Your
them.
name, the call.
You can call, another good place to call is the pest control companies. Like your, guys that do spray for roaches and stuff, they get called all the time for bees. Just make sure you're clear with them that you do not do structural maneuvers unless you do that. Because they'll call you and be like, hey, bees in the roof, go get them.
So I'm glad to get it from me.
So I get all those calls all the time because I'm the local bee guy in my town. So I just go tell them, go to TXARAPVR, it's the Texas Association of Professional Bee Removers. They can handle it.
Some people want it done free, you do a lot of work.
I go get a swarm for free.
Yeah.
That's the first thing when they call, I got bees out, like, can you send me a picture? Because they'll tell you, oh, it's a swarm, you'll get in there and they're in the wall. Text me a picture, where do you live? Because I'm not driving 45 minutes, because by the time I get there, I've done it, when I first started beekeeping, I was like, I was gung ho. So one time I drove from Mont Bellevue to Clear Lake. I got there just in time to see them fly.
Oh, the swarming in the tree generally, they won't stay in there more than 2 days, man. So you gotta get to them about the first day that they land in the tree, or they'll be leaving as you drive up.
Yeah, and then people will post on Facebook, hey, I got bees, anybody know? And then there'll be a bunch of people that post underneath there, I'll just leave them alone, they'll leave. Yeah, I always like to tell people, no, please call a beekeeper because they'll leave, but they're gonna leave into somebody's walls of their house. It might be yours.
It's amazing, I live in Bel Air, and the number of bees in the walls that people find, especially when they try to sell their house and inspect it. All right. Good luck.
You ready to do that stuff? You ready to do the honey tasting thing?
Yeah. If that's what's up next.
Oh, our speaker canceled on us, so we're winging it.
All right. Thanks to B. Weaver, he donated about 9 types of honey. There are, I think, 4 pure honeys. You know, that means they're not infused. The rest of the varieties are infused. And they make some crazy, like a Reaper infused Texas pecan coffee. And the labels are there. And the way it's gonna work, you're gonna take this, we'll get some helpers with a jar, and you get your spoon, and they're gonna drip a little honey on there, and you taste it, keep your spoon and move to the next station. So I'll need some people. And now, that's the honeys. Mike donated some last year honey, and then a bourbon barrel aged honey. And then I got 2 jars. I make a lot of preserves using honey instead of sugar. So there's 2 varieties, 1 fig, 1 strawberry, a jam made with honey. So you could see what you could do with your honey. I mean, it really does improve your flavor and your health, eating healthier than using granulated sugar. But remember, if you substitute honey, 3/4 cup of honey for 1 cup of sugar. Don't overdo it.
You can overdo it. It's kind of funny.
Hey, it's honey.
Yeah. Okay, so if you're using honey for preserves. What is it?
You, like the rest, you calls for 1 cup of sugar, 3/4 cup of honey, no sugar.
No sugar, okay. And then that's good.
And that gives you, it's about sweetness over, you know, what I meant. You got a couple of big over lemon, you got the mic stand. There's over simple stuff, right? Well, the tasting is kind of, it'll give you a chance to sample it. And it's kind of interesting. We came back, B. Weaver with this, Carolina Reaper infused. And, you know, but he wanted to follow the story of life. She puts it on me, and a little lucky stuff. And she don't like what spice, but it wasn't, it was like, it's hard to control the spice of it. Now, some people use it with, powders, but if you, like bread, then you can spoil the bread, the heat rate of that can be trying to drive over. But if you use dry, like cinnamon and chocolate, they put cocoa inside it. That's what B. Weavers people make. They just dump cocoa in there. I don't know what ratio it is. You know, they just gave me some free samples and I thought I shared they're just good to this. So you know what you do?
Do you have an infuser?
Huh?
Do you have an infuser?
No, I ain't got none of them. This is weed show. I got to figure all that out.
Yeah, I do. I do. Like, fruit, like.
You have
I just put it in a little bowl. For the ones that you would like to be on. Yeah. I did. I think. Yeah, it's fine. You can both.
All right. Since B. Weaver donated this, the old man B. Weaver, the father of the current B. Weaver, used to keep these in my dad's house. And his book, Ohio honey was the best honey in Texas. And it comes from basically bushes outside Texas. So you got a chance to try Ohio honey. And don't ask me how to spell Ohio, look from there.
What is it? Okay.
All people I know are pronounce it. So try to do it together with the kids about this. Now get up, come on. Thank you.
Yeah, I know.